Hello, my dear friends, and welcome on the Info Club channel. This is Yun speaking, and today's video we're gonna speak about the latest update, which is coming from first of all from Crimea, and then we're gonna speak about the latest update from the front lines, especially from Zaporozhia and also from Luhansk area, which is the latest update said that the Russians started a very important counteroffensive, especially on the LIMAN front line and Kupiansk. So yes, guys, before we start, please make sure to like and subscribe. I would be so thankful for your support. So yes, we start directly from Crimea. The latest update said that the Russians now has started to build up a new caliber carriers. As we all know that there is some treaty that in case of war on the Black Sea, the Black Sea countries has no right to transfer ships through the Istanbul Canal, the Bosphorus Canal, and now the Russians, they had no other option only to build up new ships carrying the caliber missiles. And yes, I think very important that the Russians, they has preparation, maybe let's say to start an operation to take control back, or to take control back the Snake Island in the first place. And then the Russians, they has plans also to take control of Odessa. But as we all know, the grain deal now between the Russians and the Ukrainians and the Turkish as middleman is, I think it will be cancelled, and the Russians, they will need to take control on all this area to block the grain, the export grain from Ukraine to the international community. As we all know that Ukraine, I think this is the only entrance, let's say, for the Ukrainian lands through this area, and the Ukrainians, they cannot export them grain, through other European countries, for example, Romania and Hungary and Slovakia and Poland. We all know that those four countries, first of all, when started the war, they gave an opportunity for the Ukrainians to sell them grains, without any, I think, without any tariffs and without any taxes. But it happened that it became a problem for the local farmers, and now the Ukrainians, they had only one way to export them grain, only through Odessa. And I think that the Russians now, they are not interested to renew this grain deal, because as we all know that Turkey has give up or give back many Azov members, which is in the deal between Vladimir Putin and Erdogan, that those members, they should back to Ukraine only when the war ends. So I think maybe the Russians, they will pay back for not respecting the deal, and also from them part, they will not negotiate any new grain deal between Turkey, Ukraine, and Russia. Jumping up now to the front line, the latest update, especially we will start from Piatikhatki. The latest update said that the Ukrainians started to transfer to this area many brigades. The latest update said that the Ukrainians transferred the 71 or the 17 Jaeger brigades, and also the 178 also to this area. I don't think that those, even the transferring new brigades, to this area will do or will make any strategic advantage for the Ukrainian. As we all see that the Russian defense line is very firm here. It's a firm defense line, and I don't think so that after more than 48 days from starting this counteroffensive, the Russian, they will give any opportunity for the Ukrainians to make any strategic gains. And moving up to Orikhiv front line, the latest update said that the Russians, they've made a counteroffensive, and they took control over this trench lines. 3 days ago, the Ukrainians has managed to make a strategic advance toward the village of toward the village of Robotina from the east side and from the north. And after that, the Ukrainians try to open up this front line for more by sending more troops to up there. And after that, it looks like the Ukrainian attack has been stalled, and the Russians has managed to take back or take control the lost area. And so moving forward, especially to Bakhmut, Artemovsk, the latest update said that the Ukrainians still trying to, let's say, to take control over the village of KLISHIVKA. The previous week, the Ukrainians has managed to take control over this huge area on the front of KLISHIVKA, and I think 3 days ago they've managed to take control over the hills of KLISHIVKA, and still for them only, let's say, even another attack, and they can manage to take control of KLISHIVKA. But the Russians, they managed to bring more support and more artilleries and more experienced, let's say, troops, and also the Chechen troops, to support the defensive line on the village of KLISHIVKA. And after that, they started a counter attack, and they took back took control over the hills in the KLISHIVKA. And I think just for now, the village of KLISHIVKA, it is safe, and the Russian, still managing to defending the south front of the city of Bakhmut. So moving forward directly to the front line of LIMAN, well, there is many very interested news from especially from the vicinity of Torsk. The latest news suggests that the Russians has made a very important bridgehead toward the village of Totske. The Russian was controlling only this area, I think, let's say, for over than 3 months. But the last, the last 3 days, the Russians has started a counter offensive over here, and they took control over this very big chunk of land, and they are now on the, let's say, the outskirts of the village of Torsk. We understand the Russian plans. First of all, the Russians want to, let's say, to take control over the village of Torsk. So when they take control over the village of Torsk, then the Russian army in the other part, they can start a counter-offensive from the north, and in the same time start a counter-offensive from the south to take control over the rest of the Luhansk Oblast in this area. This is the first part. The second part, moving forward to Liman. Liman it's a very important, a very strategic village, for let's say transportation, and also Liman, it is next to the most biggest city in the Donetsk area is Slavyansk. And Liman, it's very close to the most strategic city in the Donetsk area, so it is Slavyansk. And in the same time, the attack through or toward Slavyansk from start also from another area, which is Bakhmut. And by this, the Russians, they will create a multiple front line. And by creating multiple front line, the Ukrainians, they will get a lot of pressure, and they cannot focus, them defenses, and moving forward, especially in the Kupiansk, North Kupiansk. Now the Russians, they have made a successful bridgehead toward the city of Kupiansk. First of all, they took control of the village of Sinkivka, and now they are closing to the village of Petrovivka and the village of Kucherivka. So when the Russians, they take control over this rest of 2 villages, then they will be able to enter the village or the city of Kupiansk, especially the west bank of the city. And we understand by this, let's say, strategic wins over the Ukrainians on this side. The Russians want to create a new border for Luhansk area before the negotiations. So by taking control all this area, and yes, so that will be the new border, and we understand, the whole area, it is belong to Kharkiv Oblast, but it looks like the Russians, they need to take control over this place because there is the river, and the river, it is a natural defense line for the Russian army, that they can manage to advance further to the city of Sloviansk and the city of Kramatorsk. So yes, guys, that was the latest update, the most important points about the front line. And again, I would be so thankful for your subscribe to this channel, because really it helps a lot. And of course, thank you in advance for subscribing to this channel. And I wish for everybody an amazing day. Bye bye.